last one I'm going to talk about in this episode is the sequel to VHS, which actually played at a midnight screening at the cinema maybe last semester or before that. This is VHS 2. It was originally supposed to be called SVHS, and those of you technophiles out there would understand how funny that would be. But the general public probably wouldn't quite catch on to it. Of course, it's an accumulation of short movies, 4 to be exact, with a 5th sort of threading them all together. The plot of the VHS movies, this is a new thing. It's almost like sort of
they're trying to make a new horror
found footage series, but it does a really nice job at threading these movies together. But yeah, sort of this new genre of horror movies. The idea is that people sort of come to this place, and inside this place are these TVs with VHS players in them, and then they find these random VHS tapes, and they watch them one by one. And that's how you, the viewer, get connected to this. But it's all shown through POV cameras. So, like, at some point, like, someone's, like, carrying around a camera. I can't remember how it's done in the first movie, but in the second movie, the whole plot is that you've got these detectives who are trying to find this guy. Try to figure out where he went. So they've got their own cameras, and they're carrying around. It's a guy and a girl, and they go to this house, and then go inside the house. No one's home. It's very, dark. It's very spooky. They run, of course, into the room full of TVs, like static TVs with, the blue VHS screen. Put the tapes in, and then you watch them one by one, along with these characters. So you've got 4 of them. The first one is called Clinical Trials. This was probably my least favorite of the short films. It was actually done by Adam Wingard, who did a movie called You're Next. It was his debut film.
That was at South by.
That was at South by.
We didn't get to see it.
Right, we didn't get to see it, but he, so he's been involved in a few things. Basically what it is, it's a POV of an eye implant. So, like, the guy loses his eye, they put this medical implant that's digital, it's recording stuff, so you see everything from his point of view. And you come to find out that he can see ghosts. And then it sort of just escalates from there. There's another another girl subplot who, like, comes and tries to warn him, like, this is why you see these ghosts, and this is what you need to do, and then it just, goes and goes and goes, and from there. And then, of course, all these movies always finish with, like, this, like, horrific shot of just some gruesome event, and then it, like, cuts off, and then it goes back sort of to the main thread movie. So it's like it just this back and forth. So that was that, and that one was just okay. Like, I was like, oh, it. My big problem is that it used those sort of like, to scare you, and it's like, pull those out. It's still scary. Like, I'm not sure why that's still a device that people really heavily rely on, unless they absolutely have to. And there's moments where it works, but it was like one after another, and it's like, you're not scaring me anymore. I'm just annoyed. It's like, come on, get this over with. The second one was a one called Ride in the Park. It's like GoPros, the cameras that you can strap to your helmet or your chest or your bicycle. Very popular these days. So they use that. And so this guy is going to take a bike ride through this park, which is like a forest area. It would be very much like the rail trail here in Bloomington. So he's calls his girlfriend. She's like, oh, like, come over. And he's like, no, I'm going to go take a bike ride. So he takes a bike ride, runs into this girl. She's like freaking out, like throwing up stuff. And he's just like, I don't know what to do. Well, come to find out, zombies. So he's, riding away from the zombies. The zombies catch up with him. All zombie hell breaks loose. And it's rather fun because everything, like, so I'll give it away. Eventually he turns into a zombie. So you have a zombie with a GoPro attached to himself.
That's awesome.
And so you see, like, the zombie, like, these people try, like, as he's like laying there, they come to and try to help him. Then he infects them, and then they all go to infect this like birthday party out in like this wooded area. And so like all these people are becoming zombies or trying to fight the zombies, and it's just like it's a lot of fun. I thought it was very clever. Out of all of them, I thought it was the most original. To be honest, I was like, that's actually a lot of fun for the zombie genre. And so that one, again, ends sort of the same way that you would expect. The third movie was by far the most messed up one. I don't mind, like, I can sit through a lot of horror movies and a lot of weird things. This one bothered me on a visceral level. It's pretty creepy. It's these documentary people want to go to this Asian commune to sort of figure out what's really going on here. Like, there's like these reports of these children being abused. these people being brainwashed, what exactly is going on. So it's like their perspective, but also some sort of spy camera footage as well that this leader of this group doesn't know about.
Mm-hmm.
And so, you get interviews with him, then you've got people sort of walking around with their own cameras, like shooting these weird scenes of like children, like being told like really weird, like being read really weird statements, being brainwashed essentially. And it just escalates and gets weirder and weirder and weirder, and you feel very weird the whole time you're watching it, like something's about to happen here.
Yeah.
Like, very Waco, just to use that as an example, like you're just like, this doesn't seem right. Like the leader's very weird. He's up to something. There's a weird, like a subplot with the documentarians that you're not sure about either. And eventually everything just gets weird. And this one was a crowd pleaser, though.
Yeah.
People they were reacting to this so much. It was directed by two different guys. Gareth Evans, who did The Raid.
Oh, okay.
He did that. And then Timo Tarahanto, I think is his name. He's done some Asian cinema stuff that I'm familiar with. I can't honestly think of anything that's like what people would really recognize right away. But I don't want to give this one away. It's worth checking out just by itself. It's messed up. It's bloody. It's gory. It's going to mess with your head because it's so realistic. It's just like just thinking about it. And then it gets kind of silly. Which is redeeming because it's like, we're going to mess with your head.
Yeah.
But then we're going to fun it up a bit because it's pretty serious at times. So that was only the third one. So there's one more left after this.
Yeah.
And it was one, and I just wrote, on my notes, fourth movie, Kids and Aliens is what I wrote. But then I found out what the actual title of it was. It's called Alien Abduction Slumber Party, which is exactly what it is. It's these kids, they have their own cameras, they have their own GoPros, and it's them sort of terrorizing their older siblings, the older siblings terrorizing them throughout this course of the day because their parents go out on a vacation, so they're just home alone, but they're old enough that they can support themselves. The older sister has a boyfriend, they get into it, in their own special way, and then these kids are like going and sort of like mess with their, we'll call it a date. And then all of a sudden aliens come and start abducting people, and I thought it was fun. I think a lot of people sort of said they didn't like it, but I wasn't exactly sure why they didn't like it. Because the aliens are kind of like your traditional looking aliens, and I thought it was rather fun because it's just like people running away from aliens essentially.
Okay.
And very this one would be the one that's probably, because all these are supposed to be intentional, like they got passed around on VHS tapes. This was the old way of going viral.
Yeah.
Sort of like what were those movies? Not Kiss of Death.
Faces of Death.
Faces of Death. It's essentially like that version. Like you can tell that this is an influence. But yeah, Alien Abduction Slumber Party was done by Jason Eisner, who did Hobo with a Shotgun.
Oh, okay.
So you get all these new guys and a couple old guys that did some stuff from VHS 1 is what it would be. So I thought it was a lot of fun. I liked it better overall than the first one. There was one in the first one that I think I would like more than all of them combined. But if people went to the cinema to see this one and enjoyed it, if it comes back to the cinema, or actually it's going to go video on demand in June, early June, before it actually goes theatrical, which I think is kind of fitting. Yeah. Because VHS, video on demand. Theatrical in July, but if it comes to the cinema before or after that, definitely check it out because it's, like I said, that third one is a crowd. Like I wrote crowd pleaser because people were just eating it up.
Wow.
So, and that was a midnight screening, which would be exactly perfect for how it played at the cinema the first time. So, again, VHS 2 or SVHS. The reason why we know that is because there was a little technical snafu, and I don't know if it was intentional or not. It seemed like it wasn't, but maybe they did it on purpose. But the movie didn't start on time. Yeah. So, like we saw sort of how they start movies at South by, and the original title card came up, and everyone was like, "Oh," because you're not supposed to see that stuff. Yeah. And it was a lot of fun. The crowd there, you could tell they were there to have fun. They were there because they saw the first one and enjoyed it. So if you like that kind of movie, you're not going to be disappointed.
A Place for Film is recorded at WFIU Studios in Bloomington, Indiana.